Oh no, an officer's going to visit my property soon. Hi, me again, and I'm back with one of my favourite videos to do. You know I love talking about the stupid, scary letters that TV licensing send out in an attempt to get you to pay for something you may not require. And how they get away with them, I still have no idea. No idea at all how they get away with wording them like this. So I got this one that one of my brilliant viewers has sent in, and if you get a letter, do feel free to send it in. You'll find the links below. Have a look at this because the headline it's a classic, really. Have a look. As we haven't heard from you, an officer will visit your property soon. So yeah, as I said, this was sent in by one of you brilliant people out there, and it's addressed to the present occupier, which suggests to me that they've moved to a new property and they are not paying their TV licence fee, as is their right to do if they don't require one, right? So they've sent several letters and they haven't heard anything back because you don't have to respond to them. There's no law saying you have to respond to their stupid letters that they send out. And now they're upping the ante a little bit. So you've got visit authorised right at the top, and as we haven't heard from you, an officer will visit your property soon. That's a threat, right? That, to me, sounds like a threat. Talk to us or we'll send the boys round. That is threatening language at least, isn't it? Give me that. So let's break this down, because if you've received this and you're a bit worried about it, you may very well be a bit worried about it if you've got one of these, right? I'm going to go through it all, break it down, and let you know how much nonsense it contains. Let's have a look. Dear Sir/Madam, your property is unlicensed. An officer has now been scheduled to visit this address to confirm your circumstances. There's no law saying you have to have a television licence. You only require one if you watch or record anything that's been broadcast or use BBC iPlayer. Otherwise, you are perfectly within your rights to be unlicensed. So they are presuming you're doing something wrong. Why are you not paying us? You must be doing something wrong if you're not paying us. How dare you not pay us? An officer has now been scheduled to visit to confirm your circumstances. Why do they need to do that? Well, you don't need to confirm anything. These persons chosen they don't want a television licence. That's the end of the story. Right? Netflix don't send someone round because you don't subscribe to them. Why you are being visited? We must ensure that everyone who needs a licence has one. Well, this person obviously doesn't require one, that's why they haven't bought one. So why are you coming round again, remind me? If you are watching recorded programmes as they're being shown on live TV or on a TV service, downloading and watching programmes on demand, including iPlayer, you are breaking the law. If an officer finds you to be watching, recording or downloading TV illegally, you risk prosecution and a fine. So again, they're presuming you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Rather than presuming you're playing a straight game and you're being an honest, law-abiding citizen, they're like, he doesn't have a telly licence. He must be doing something wrong. How dare he not have one? They're presuming guilt. And that's no way to run a business, is it? Presuming guilt. I don't know how they get away with it. So if an officer finds you to be watching, recording or downloading TV illegally, you risk prosecution and a fine. Yeah, that is true. If you are caught watching something you shouldn't be watching, you can get a fine and a court date for that. But they're presuming you are. So let's work out how an officer could find out you're watching a recording or downloading TV illegally. How could they possibly know that? Well, detective vans are a myth. They don't exist, never have. They are just an empty threat to scare people into paying for something they may not need. So how could an officer possibly know? There is only one way, and that's you telling them. They're quite good at their job, some of these, right? And they'll twist your words and they'll try and stitch you up, or they're asked to come into your property. And when they come into your property, they'll ask to turn the TV on. You give them the remote, they'll find something, right? So even if you are watching something you shouldn't be watching, and I never condone that, the only way they would know is if you tell them. Now, remember that it says officer. They use the official word because they want you to think they're police officers or bailiffs or something important. If you go to the TV licensing website, they say that these people have no powers and that they are door-to-door salesmen. So they have no right to interview. They can say, we interview under caution. I can interview you under caution if I want. It doesn't mean anything. And they dress sort of authoritative. They try and scare you into thinking they're important. They are door-to-door salesmen. So if you get one knock on your door, even if you're playing a completely straight game and you've got nothing to hide, never talk to them. Never. No good can come from it. No good will come from talking to these people. So if you get a knock on your door and they say, hello, I'm from TV licensing, you go, no thanks, and you shut the door in their face. Just shut the door in their face. You're perfectly within your rights to do so. They're an unwanted door-to-door salesman. Now, if you don't believe me that this is a thing, have a look. There's a playlist below in the description of people doing exactly that. It's the best way to deal with these people. And as I said, even if you're playing a completely straight game and you're not doing anything wrong, you're playing by the rules like myself, no good will come from talking to these people, I promise you. They are experts at stitching people up. They earn commission. And that's one of the points I don't understand with it, because you're incentivizing them to stitch people up. They're not there to help, are they? If you pay someone commission, they're incentivized to make sales. That's how they build their salary up. So they're paid wrong. And when you pay people with commission, you find people do the wrong thing sometimes to earn their commission. It's the wrong way to pay them. So there is no better way to deal with these people than just say, no, thank you, be polite, shut the door. Done. Have a look at the playlist below. Right, what else does this letter say? How to stop this visit. Please do one of the following immediately. Buy a TV license. Yeah, it's funny how that would stop the investigation, isn't it? Move an existing license to this current address. Or tell us you don't need a license at TV licensing.co/no TV. Once you have contacted us, we'll update our records and cancel this investigation. I always love it when they talk about their investigation. It always makes me laugh, right? Because their investigation involves sending someone to your house. Because their investigative powers haven't figured out the name. It's addressed to present occupier and dear Sir Madam. How's your investigation going now? That's cracking, that, isn't it? Not exactly bloody Columbo working at TV licensing, is there? So let's have a look at this. You can tell them you don't need a license. And I have in the past said, tell them. I did it. I've done it for probably 6 years straight now, where you tell them you don't require a television license. It's called a no license needed exemption. Sometimes you can do it online, but it's easier to phone them up. And yeah, they pretty much leave you alone for 2 years. You don't get any of the really scary letters, really, unless they have admin errors, which happen a lot. You may still get one of these people turn up to your door just to confirm you don't need a license. They're there to help. Of course they bloody are. But this person's recently moved to a new address. So they don't know that he lives there. They don't know his name, anything like that. There's no reason to give them that information. You don't want to buy their service. They don't need to know who you are, right? So if you've just moved and you don't want to continue having a TV license, just ignore them. Do nothing. Cancel your old one at your own property, move. Don't do anything. If you lived in your house ages and you've had a TV license there in the past and they know who you are at that address, there's no harm doing the no license needed exemption. That's what I personally do. But when I move, which I will be moving to a new place soon, I won't be telling them. I'll be getting present occupier letters. Well, there's no reason to tell them. No reason to tell them at all. If you do tell them, it goes on the official numbers and that. But it's up to you. It's up to you. You don't have to tell them if you don't want to. You can just cancel your direct debit and blank them. And then you'll get loads of these letters and you can be mildly amused by their empty threats because they can't do anything. If you've got one of these letters, please don't be scared by it. I've pretty much covered all the letters now. If you have a look, playlist below for the TV license letters, I've pretty much covered them all. And none of them have scared me at all. If you've received a letter and you think I'd like to share it with everybody to help other people out, do send it over to me. Again, the contact details are below, but check the playlist first just to make sure I haven't done it before. Because I've pretty much covered all of them now. But this one, it's threatening language, isn't it? As we haven't heard from you, an officer will visit your property soon. It's wrong, isn't it? It should say door-to-door salesman will visit you soon to try and sell you something you don't want. But then if they said that, probably not as many people would fall for it, I guess. But let me know what you think about this letter below. And as always, thank you for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully, I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.